Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something right now. Words have the power to change everything. The way you speak to a man, the way you let your words fall into his ears, can make him feel like the most powerful man in the room or the most defeated. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. If you don't remember anything else today, remember this: words are powerful. Words can make a man and words can break a man. The way you speak to him, the tone you use, the choice of words you make can determine if he feels loved or if he feels ignored, if he feels strong or if he feels defeated. People often think attraction is all about looks, about style, about money, but the truth is, what really makes a man fall in love is how a woman makes him feel with her words. A man can meet 100 women, but the one he cannot get out of his head is the one who speaks life into him, who makes him feel respected, appreciated, and valued in a way nobody else does. Think about it. When you tell a man, I respect you, I admire you, I believe in you, it hits him in a place deeper than his mind. It hits him in his spirit. Men crave respect even more than they crave love, because respect tells them that what they do matters, that their effort means something. A man can walk into the world, fight every battle, deal with rejection, failure, and stress. But if he comes home and hears from you, I see how hard you try, I'm proud of you, suddenly all those battles feel lighter. He feels like he's not fighting alone. That's the kind of power your words hold. You can lift the weight off his shoulders just by reminding him that he's not invisible, that he's not overlooked, that you see the man he's trying to be. Now here's the thing. Men may not always say it, but deep down, they're fragile in ways you wouldn't believe. They put on this armor. They walk around acting tough, but inside, they are just waiting for one voice that makes them feel safe. And when your voice becomes that voice, when your words bring him peace instead of pressure, he will never forget it. He may forget what you wore, he may forget the perfume you had on, but he will never forget how your words made him feel. You can say something as simple as, I believe in you, and watch how it changes the way he walks, the way he works, the way he looks at you. Because now he's carrying your belief along with his own. But let's not pretend like it's only about the words themselves. No, it's about how you say them. You can have the right sentence, but if it comes out with doubt, with hesitation, with a shaky voice, it loses power. But if you say it with confidence, with conviction, with the kind of energy that makes him feel you mean every word, it sticks. Confidence is attractive because it shows him you're not just speaking to please him, you're speaking from truth. When you look him in the eye and say, you mean the world to me, he feels it because you said it like you believed it. And when a man feels believed in, he will climb mountains for you. I want you to think about this. Every man has a dream, every man has a fear, and every man has doubts. And sometimes all it takes to push him past those doubts is the right word from the right woman. That's why I say if you want to capture a man's heart, don't just focus on how you look, focus on what you say. Say the words that make him stand taller. Say the words that make him believe he can. Say the words that tell him you see the king inside them. Because when you do, you're not just talking, you're building. You're building trust, you're building love, you're building a bond that no one else can break. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know the secret, it's not about magic, it's not about tricks. It's about words. Words that respect, words that uplift, words that inspire. Say them with truth, say them with love, say them with confidence. And watch how every man, no matter how strong he acts, will fall for you. Respect is the foundation of every man's heart. It doesn't matter how successful he looks, how strong he stands, or how confident he appears in front of the world. Deep down, what he truly desires more than anything else is respect. Love is powerful, care is important, but respect is what makes a man feel alive. When you tell a man you respect him, when you show him admiration for what he does and who he is, you are speaking directly to his soul. Respect tells him that his efforts are not in vain, that his presence makes a difference, that what he provides and who he strives to be actually matters. Without respect, a man feels small, even if he has everything. With respect, even in the toughest circumstances, he feels like he can move mountains. When a woman looks at a man and says, "I respect how hard you work," or "I admire the way you handle challenges," she's not just complimenting him, she's building him. She's reminding him of his worth in a world that often beats him down. Every day, men face silent battles they don't talk about. They deal with pressure, with expectations, with failure that nobody sees. And while they keep those battles inside, they still long for someone who sees past the surface. When you admire a man genuinely, when you tell him you notice his discipline, his kindness, his sacrifices, you become the voice that lifts him above his struggles. He may not say it out loud, but inside, he treasures those words more than anything. Respect is not only about big statements. Sometimes it's about the small things you choose to acknowledge. When you thank him for the little efforts, when you recognize that he tries, even if he doesn't always get it right, you send a message that he matters. Men are not looking for perfection. They're looking for acceptance. A man who feels respected by the woman he loves will always want to give her his best because respect fuels his drive to be more. You could tell him you love him every day, but if he feels disrespected, those words will never land. But if you show him respect, admiration, and appreciation, love automatically grows deeper. Authentic appreciation is the second key that makes a man fall. Not empty flattery, not casual praise, but true appreciation for who he is and what he brings into your life. When you appreciate him genuinely, you're telling him that he is seen, that he is valued, that he is more than enough. It's not about saying you're the best. It's about saying, I see how much effort you put into providing for us. I notice how much you care. I'm grateful for the way you stand by me. Those words of appreciation turn into strength for him. They silence his doubts, they calm his fears, and they make him want to hold on to you tighter than ever. Men crave appreciation because the world rarely gives it to him. Out there in his workplace, in his responsibilities, he's often judged by results, by success, by outcomes. But when he comes to you, what he longs for is someone who appreciates the process, someone who values the intention, someone who says, I see you trying, and that means everything. That kind of appreciation makes him feel safe enough to be himself. It makes him trust that he doesn't have to wear a mask with you. And once a man feels that level of appreciation, he'll give you the most loyal, devoted version of himself. Respect and appreciation are not complicated, but they are powerful. When combined, they create a bond that no one else can replace. Respect speaks to his pride, to his inner man, reminding him that he is capable and strong. Appreciation speaks to his heart, reminding him that he is loved not for what he achieves, but for who he is. Together they form the words every man is desperate to hear, but doesn't always admit. And when you are the one who gives him both, when you are the voice that tells him he is respected and appreciated, you become unforgettable. No game, no trick, no appearance could ever match the impact of those two truths spoken with sincerity. Respect is like air to a man. He can't survive without it, even if he never says it out loud. You could love him, you could care for him, but if he doesn't feel respected, he will never feel complete. Every man wants to know that the woman beside him honors who he is, values what he brings, and trusts what he's capable of. Respect tells him he is not just another person in your life. It tells him he is important, that his role matters, and that his efforts are seen. A man will give everything to the woman who respects him, because when he feels respected, he feels strong, he feels capable, and he feels worthy. That's why simple words like, I respect you for how hard you try, or I admire the way you handle things, can make him fall in love deeper than anything else. Those words don't just sit in his ears, they sit in his spirit. Now combine respect with genuine appreciation and you have something even stronger. Appreciation is the key that unlocks his loyalty. A man goes through life carrying burdens nobody else knows. He works hard, he sacrifices, and half the time no one even says thank you. That's why when the woman looks at him and says, I notice how much you do, and I'm grateful, she becomes unforgettable. And appreciation doesn't mean flattering him all the time. It means pointing out the real things he does that add value to your life. It's saying, I'm proud of you, not just because he achieved something big, but because you see his effort when he thinks nobody notices. Those words give him the strength to keep going. They make him feel like all the long hours, the struggles, the small victories matter. A man can act strong, but inside, every man carries insecurities. He wonders if he's good enough, if he's providing enough, if he's living up to the expectations he puts on himself. The world rarely gives him a break. But when the woman he loves shows appreciation, that weight starts to lift. He doesn't just feel loved, he feels understood. He feels like he has a safe place where he can finally rest. Appreciation feeds his heart in ways money and success never could. And once he feels it, he'll never forget the woman who gave it. But respect and appreciation alone are not enough to create the deepest bond. A man has a side he doesn't show the world, a vulnerable side he guards because he's afraid of being judged or misunderstood. The truth is, most men are not as tough as they look. They carry wounds, they carry fears, but they hide them because they think showing them will make them weak. That's why encouragement is so powerful. When you tell a man, I believe in you even when it's hard, or it's okay, I've got your back, you give him permission to let his guard down. You create a space where he doesn't have to be perfect. And when he feels safe enough to be vulnerable with you, that's when he truly bonds with you. Vulnerability is not weakness. For a man, it's the ultimate trust. If he can cry in front of you, if he can admit his fears to you, if he can talk about his doubts without feeling judged, that means he sees you as his safe haven. And encouragement is what unlocks that side of him. Your words can turn his fear into faith, his doubt into determination, his weakness into strength. When you encourage him, you're not just supporting him, you're showing him that he doesn't have to carry everything alone. That level of trust makes him love you deeper because now you're not just his partner, you're his peace. Respect touches his pride, appreciation touches his heart, and encouragement touches his soul. Together, they make a man feel like he's not only loved, but truly valued for who he is. And when a man feels that way, there is nothing he wouldn't do to keep that connection alive. Respect is one of the deepest needs of a man's heart. It is the silent fuel that drives him, the hidden desire that keeps him going every day. He can receive love, he can receive care, but if he doesn't feel respected, none of it will truly satisfy him. A man wants to know that the woman he gives his time, energy, and heart to honors him for who he is and trusts him for what he can do. Respect builds him up in a way nothing else can. When you say, "I admire how hard you work," or "I respect the way you stand strong," those words are not just casual phrases. They become his strength. A man who feels respected will fight harder, give more, and stay committed because respect tells him he is valuable. Without respect, even the most confident man feels small. But with it, even the weakest man will rise. Alongside respect, appreciation is equally powerful. Men live in a world where they are judged by results and often overlooked for their effort. They carry burdens quietly, working, sacrificing, and hoping someone notices. Most of the time, nobody does. That's why genuine appreciation from the woman he loves becomes priceless. When you say, "I see what you're doing and I'm grateful," or "I'm proud of you," it gives him a sense of worth he doesn't find anywhere else. Appreciation is not about flattery. It's about being real and noticing the little things. It's recognizing that he tries, even when he falls short. Those words give him a reason to keep pushing forward. They assure him that what he's doing matters, even if the world doesn't applaud him. Respect strengthens his pride, but appreciation strengthens his heart. It makes him feel loved, not for what he achieves, but for who he is. When a man feels appreciated, he feels seen, and when he feels seen, he opens up in ways he never would otherwise. Appreciation becomes the difference between a man who simply exists in a relationship and a man who invests everything he has into it. Now, behind that exterior of strength, every man has a softer side he hides. He doesn't show it easily because he fears judgment. He fears being seen as weak if he admits his doubts or reveals his struggles. That's why encouragement is so important. Encouragement unlocks the part of him that rarely comes out. When you tell him, "I believe in you," even when things are tough, or "You don't have to be perfect, I've got you," you create a safe space for him. And once a man feels safe to be vulnerable with you, the bond grows unshakable. Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's trust. If a man trusts you enough to share his fears, to admit his failures,